This is how a rich man drinks wine. He breaks an egg into an empty glass and pours in some fine wine. Then drinks it all in one gulp. It's his breakfast. The famous antique paintings are left on the floor. After having breakfast, this guy drives his car straight into the mall. He uses a drill to unlock the door and gets inside. He eats the most delicious food and randomly wears the most expensive suits in the store. He lives a free life. He can do everything he wants without being controlled. This man's name is Zacc Hobson. He's a scientist employed by Ďelenko. While he was sleeping, a flash of red light awoke Zacc. He gets dressed and drives to work as usual. But the world seems to be unusually quiet. There is no employee at the gas station. A lawn mower still working by the roadside. When he's wondering what has happened, an oil tanker truck suddenly appears on the street. Fortunately, Zacc reacts in time so there isn't any accident. After driving into the city, the surroundings even make Zacc more confused. As usual, the streets are always full of cars. But today, there are neither cars nor people. Even though there's a fire, no one appears to put it out. Investigating a fire, he discovers the wreckage of a passenger jet. But there are no bodies, only empty seats. Zacc enters his laboratory, but fails to contact any of the other labs around the world. Only until this moment does he realize that he's the only person left on Earth. He searches around the laboratory and reaches a room. When the door opens, he's very delighted to see another man. But when he turns the chair, it turns out to be a dead body. The corpse collapses and touches the burglar alarm. The lab is suddenly and automatically sealed. Zacc is locked inside. So he improvises a bomb to free himself by burning the gas tank. After that, Zacc hurriedly runs to a safe place. A loud bang resounds. The explosion makes a large hole on the wall. Zacc finally manages to escape from the lab. He turns on the power and starts the radio. Zacc starts to search for other survivors on Earth. He drives the police car around the city, but can't find anyone. On a quiet night, suddenly a heavy rain comes. The sound of saxophone echoes throughout the city. Zacc has completely given up looking for other people. He's no longer controlled by laws or any discipline. He begins a life of self-indulgence and enjoys the lonely world. Zacc then moves into a luxurious mansion. He drives the train right into the city center just because he wants to play billiards. When he doesn't like the presenter on TV, Zacc picks up a gun and shoots at it. After a week of vain attempts to contact other human beings, his mental state begins to deteriorate. He feels like being abandoned by God. Zacc bursts into a church, shoots at a statue of Jesus. But it isn't enough for him. Zacc even uses an earth mover to destroy the city. In the end, he puts the barrel of a shotgun into his mouth. Zacc wants to go to God and asks him the reason. Right at this moment, a loud band resounds, making Zacc come to his senses. He determines that he can't die like that. Even if there was only him left on Earth, Zacc has to stay strong to be alive. He moves to another mansion and starts his new life. He uses the generator to bring electricity to the new house. One day, when he's playing game, Zacc suddenly finds something strange through the screen. When he turns around, Zacc sees a woman entering the house with a gun. Perhaps it's because of being alone for too long. They're both dumbfounded when they see each other. The two lonely humans hug each other tightly. They spend a sleepless night talking to each other about what has happened to them. Zacc says that the mass disappearance seems to be related to this company. They worked on Project Flashlight, an experiment to create a global energy grid, which makes it possible for a plane to take off without fuel. After a few days, the two discuss and start to find more survivors. Joanne's responsible for searching in the hospitals, while Zacc brings the generator to the institute. He thinks the disaster seems to coincide with the moment Flashlight was activated. Suddenly there's spatial distortion. The two can sense clearly the incoming disaster. Through observation, Zacc discovers that the amount of electrons in the air is changing, and the Earth is in an unstable state. On the way to reunite with Joanne, a delivery truck suddenly appears and blocks Zacc's way. Zacc steps toward it to check. He pulls the door, but the driver's seat is empty. Suddenly, a masked guy turns up and controls Zacc with a gun. After making sure that he's safe, the strange guy reveals his face. It turns out that he's another lucky survivor named API. After meeting Joanne, the three people hug each other tightly. Sitting in front of the fire, they determine why they survived. When the mass disappearance happened, they were all on the verge of death. API was being drowned in a fight. Joanne was electrocuted by a faulty hairdryer. And Zacc had overdosed on pills in a suicide attempt. He had realized the experiment posed serious dangers, and was guilt-ridden for not speaking out. Through investigation, Zacc finds out that universal physical constants are changing, causing the sun's output to fluctuate. If nothing was done, the Earth would be destroyed soon. Zacc tells the others to hurriedly go to the institute with him. because there are many devices, and they might find a solution. However, API isn't satisfied with Zac's order. After a while fighting, Zac drives the car away. API angrily chases after him, and the two cars collide. API crashes his car into Zac's, causing Zac to lose control of the car. After that, the two continue on arguing. Joanne picks up a gun and shoots at them to stop the quarrel. According to the computer's calculation, the disaster will come tomorrow. Suddenly, spatial distortion occurs again. Zac and API both disappear without a trace. They're transported to different spaces. Earth's gravity seems to have lost its effect. But very quickly, everything returns to normal. API says that if the disaster appeared because of the global energy grid, why don't they destroy it to bring everything back to normal? The three immediately drive a truckload of explosives to the Institute. Zac decides to destroy the 𝙬𝙬𝙦 facility in an attempt to stop the disaster. On the way there, Zac detects dangerous levels of ionizing radiation. So they have to stop far from the Institute. If they kept going into it, they would be exploded. The three walk to the 𝙬𝙬𝙦 facility and find out that the grid is still working normally. Zac says that he will go to town to retrieve a remote control device, which allows them to send the truck into the facility. Joanne wants to go with him, but is refused. In fact, Zac has known that Joanne and API have feelings for each other. On the observatory, they hear the truck coming. It turns out that there isn't any remote control device. Zac directly drives the truck into the facility. As for Joanne and API, they're very shocked with Zac's sacrifice. He drives the truck onto the weakened roof of the underground portion of the laboratory. Just as the effect reaches a maximum, he triggers the explosives, causing the facility to collapse. Once again a red light is seen surrounded by the dark tunnel. Zac finds himself lying face down on a beach. There are strange cloud formations, and an enormous ringed planet slowly appears over the horizon. The movie ends here. You may think that Zac isn't a hero, but a cunning guy. In fact, the mass disappearance isn't related to the energy grid. When Zac's busy finding a solution to save the three, he sees API and Joanne together. He's so jealous that Zac wants to leave them there and survive alone. But he sacrifices because Zac knows that only by dying can he escape the disaster. But Zac can't expect that he is sent to another planet. And the movie doesn't tell us what will happen to him in the future. It's the end of the movie today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you next time.